In this video, I will be ranking all 14 Minecraft biomes in a tier list. From the jungle biome to the desert, I will rank the worst and the best of the Minecraft biomes all in this video. This is the Supreme Minecraft Biomes tier list. Also, if you like this video, you are giving me more views, so you have the power to help me and I'd really appreciate if you did. And now, the tier list. If you don't know, the way this tier list works is that there's 5 tiers: best, good, average, faulty, and bad. And I'll be putting each Minecraft biome in one of these tiers. And now, let's rank our first biome, Dark Forest Biome. Now, the Dark Forest Biome is a biome that was added in 1.7 and is an interesting biome because it has so many trees that it covers the light from the sky and allows mobs to spawn in the daytime, which could be pretty concerning if you don't want your house to explode. But I guess a few torches could fix that. But one really unique thing about the Dark Forest Biome is that it's the only biome that woodland mansions can spawn in. And since woodland mansions are a pretty large structure and have decent loot, this can make Dark Forest pretty sought after by the Minecraft player base. Also, not to mention that this is the only biome that grows dark oakwood trees naturally. And in my opinion, it's a pretty nice looking biome, especially when you consider that they throw in some mushroom trees randomly amongst all the dark oakwood trees. Overall, the Dark Forest Biome is a good tier. Now the Savanna Biome. So like the Dark Forest Biome, the Savanna Biome was also added in 1.7, but while the two biomes might have been added in the same update, they definitely aren't the same. So the Savanna Biome is considered a dry biome, which means it can't rain or snow there, which depending on who you ask could be a good or bad thing. But one thing a lot of Minecraft players can agree on is their dislike for the Savanna Biome's acacia wood. You see, the Savanna Biome is home to its own and only type of wood called acacia wood, and seems like ever since acacia wood came out, not a lot of Minecraft players have ever really liked it. Don't get me wrong, there are a few Minecraft players who do like it, but it really seems like if you ask a random Minecraft player what their least favorite type of wood is, most of them will probably say acacia. So if you wanted to live in a Savanna Biome, it could be pretty annoying to have to go to a whole nother biome just to get some decent wood. And to be honest, unless you really like the look of the Savanna Biome, there's not really a point to living here. So because Savannah's wood situation is pretty lackluster and because there's nothing too special for this biome to offer, I think the Savanna Biome is a faulty tier. The Ocean Biome. So as you may expect, the Ocean Biome is one of the most common biomes in all of Minecraft, and with that, it's probably the single hardest biome to live in. Now for a long time, the ocean was just seen as a large useless barrier between different land masses, and no one really cared much for it. So players didn't really like the ocean or just felt pretty neutral about it. But that all changed when the 1.13 aquatic update came out. When 1.13 came out, it completely revamped oceans to make them look better and added a ton of new things to explore and collect. So now the ocean biome, which was once pretty useless and barren, now became a colorful biome that was rich with content to explore. But although the ocean biome is a little more fun than it used to be, it still isn't enough to keep players there for more than a couple minutes. But to be fair, it's an ocean after all. You're not supposed to be spending too much time there. It fulfills its purpose, but it's not amazing. The ocean biome is a faulty tier. Now the plains biome. So the name definitely describes this biome perfectly. It's really plain. So the plains biome is your typical grassy field you'll see with almost no trees and a lot of grass. And since there's almost no trees in this biome, you'll find a lot of lava and water pools lying around everywhere. The plains biome is also usually bordered by an oak forest biome, so you'll be typically getting a lot of oak wood to build with. And speaking of building, it can be pretty annoying to build in the plains biome because of all the grass and tall grass, but on the other hand, there's also a lot of open space to build, so that kind of balances it out. Really though, the name plains fits this biome perfectly. It's not bad or good, just plains, so I think the plains biome is an average tier. The mountains biome, or better known as the extreme hills biome, is a biome that is usually high in elevation and covered in a lot of stone and grass. Some of the mountains can even get so high that the rain will turn into snow and water will turn into ice blocks. One really cool thing about the mountains biome is that it's the only biome that you could find emerald ore spawn in naturally. And not to mention that mountains is one of the only biomes where llamas naturally spawn, the other being the savanna biome. Yeah, that stuff is nice and all, but to be honest, I feel like having such vertical mountains might make it a little hard to find a decent place to build in this biome, and not to mention the lack of trees it has. It's cool to look at, but actually living in this biome is pretty lackluster, so the mountains biome is a faulty tier. Now the snowy biomes. So I say snowy biomes because there's actually not just one single snow biome. There's about 6 of them, but they're all so similar that they're basically just different variants of each other. In fact, a lot of biomes have different variants of themselves, but some of those variants are so similar that it's not even worth mentioning. But anyway, while most biomes do have very similar looking variants, the snowy biome variants do seem to be a little more noticeable than some other biome variants. So the snowy biomes are biomes where it's almost always snow covered and where it only snows and rain doesn't exist. The snowy biome has different biome variants such as the ice spike biome, the snowy tundra, and the snowy taiga, among others. Now for a while, the snowy biomes felt pretty boring and empty, but after updates updates like 1.10 and 1.14 came out, which added stuff like villages, polar bears, and strays to the snowy biomes, they got a little bit better. But I'm gonna be honest, I feel like snow being on the ground and your water blocks freezing all the time can get pretty annoying. And maybe aside from polar bears and strays, there's not really too much to do in snowy biomes. So I think the snowy biomes are a bad tier. The swamp biome. So the swamp biome is one of the oldest biomes in Minecraft and is probably also one of the most recognizable biomes as well. Now the swamp biome is pretty unique with its watery land and lily pads scattered across everywhere. And not to mention the color of the water is always a greenish color, which could be good or bad depending on who you ask, I guess. The swamp biome also has a pretty rare structure called swamp huts, which usually have nothing more than a crafting table and a simple cauldron inside, so they're pretty useless. Swamps along with deserts are also the only place where fossils could be found, which could be pretty cool if you like bone meal. But I feel like swamp biomes are the type of biome that nobody really hates, but nobody really tends to make a base there either. I think swamp biomes are a true average tier. The Badlands biome, also known as the Mesa biome. So the Badlands biome immediately stands out with it being the only biome entirely made up of terracotta. And not only that, but it's mostly orange and red terracotta, which definitely doesn't blend in with other biomes, and that's not a bad thing. So the Badlands biome is a biome that seems to be replicating a typical North American western desert. And like I said before, it has a whole lot of terracotta, so if you ever needed some free terracotta, this is definitely the place to get it. Now aside from the looks, this biome is actually pretty empty, with really the only unique thing about it is that you'll often find mine shafts located above the surface sticking out of mountainsides. And with that, gold could also spawn all the way up to y=79 in the Badlands, so that's pretty cool. But what's not cool is trees are very rare in this biome, and if you do get wood or other building materials, then building a base out of common blocks will probably stick out a lot in the Badlands, really due to all the contrasting reds and oranges surrounding you. The Badlands is really a pain for common living situations, but honestly, how pretty this biome is makes up for that a little bit. The Badlands is an average tier. The desert. So the desert biome is another very recognizable Minecraft biome that is covered completely in sand. Now the desert is one of the only biomes where cacti can naturally spawn, with the other being the Badlands biome. But in the desert, cacti does spawn twice as much than in the Badlands though. Deserts also have desert temples, which are neat structures with quite a bit of loot inside. But other than that, the desert is kind of empty. What you see is what you get, and it's a desert after all. The desert biome is a faulty tier. Mushroom Fields, or as it used to be called, Mushroom Islands, is an extremely rare biome that's usually surrounded by the ocean, and it's home to its own unique mob called the Mushroom, which is basically a cow, but just better. Now the Mushroom Fields have 0 trees and decided to opt for shrooms instead, and it's not just the trees that are mushroom themed. I mean, this whole biome just seems to be a love letter to mushrooms, but if you wanted safety, then this is definitely the biome for you, because no mobs except for bats and mushrooms can spawn here. Even underground, other mobs won't spawn. It really is a safe biome to stay in, and to be honest, I feel like the only downsides to this biome is just how rare it is and the fact that there's no way to get wood. But the mushroom biome is a really good average tier. The taiga biome, or how I like to call it, the spruce biome. Now the taiga biome is the only biome where you're gonna find spruce trees, which a lot of players consider their favorite type of tree. But spruce isn't the only unique thing to the taiga biome. The taiga biome also exclusively has foxes, and sweetberry bushes can mostly be only found in the taiga biome as well. Now of course the taiga biome has your typical villages, which are not rare amongst biomes, but are always nice. Now there's just something about the taiga biome that just makes it so great, and I can't really put my finger on it. It's just a well-rounded biome with no downsides I could really think of. To be honest, the taiga biome is a best tier. The void. Now I don't know how many of you really consider this a biome, but I mean, it's not a different dimension, so what else would it really be? So the void is only accessible through creative mode, or at least it's only supposed to be accessible through creative mode. I'm looking at you, SciCraft SMP. But either way, the void is truly what you expect it to be, a void. You can't stand in it, and you can't build in it. It's just a void at the bottom of the map, which is symbolic because the void is also at the bottom of this tier list. The void is a bad tier. The jungle biome. Now the jungle biome is a biome with some pretty cool variants, like the bamboo forest jungle and the modified jungle edge, which is actually the rarest biome in the entire game. But variants aside, the jungle biome is pretty unique. It has its own structure, which is officially called the jungle pyramid, which doesn't look much like a pyramid, but we'll roll with it. And this biome is also home to its own wood type called jungle wood, which next to acacia might be one of the worst looking wood types in Minecraft. Now this is a jungle, which means there's gonna be a whole lot of leaves and vines everywhere, which could be pretty annoying if you just want to clear out a space to build in. But to be fair, that's a part of the whole jungle charm. And speaking of the jungle charm, amongst the jungle you'll find these massive jungle trees, which tower over the whole biome and are the tallest trees in the game. The jungle is a really cool and unique biome, and is still fairly easy to live in, with really the only downside just being that it could take some effort to clear out a good space to live in. Overall, the jungle biome is a good tier. The oak forest biome. So the oak forest is special because it, along with the ocean, is the oldest biome in Minecraft. And because of that, it really became the biome people think of when someone says the word Minecraft. And with that, it's also one of the most common biomes in the entire game. The oak forest biome has some pretty great variants as well, such as the birch variant and the flower variant. Now I'm gonna be honest, this biome doesn't have some huge unique feature or even some cool little hidden feature. What you see is what you get. It's just an oak forest. It of course has oak wood, which is the standard Minecraft wood type, and it also has some birch thrown in there. And that's really all I could say. It's just a forest. But this is the forest where most of your first Minecraft memories were born. On paper, this biome might be an average tier, but I think we all hold the oak forest biome as a best tier. Kind of like how on paper it looks like this video was made by my own free will, but that's not true because I'm being forced to make this video.